it's Vanessa. Let's do her makeup. Here's my compact. This is my personal one. I'm going to do, I kind of wing it, you know. I do things different all the time. I think today I'm going to start with a little bit of setting spray. Sorry, something in my eye. There's always something in my eye. So this is my Stay Spray. Now, normally it comes in a beautiful bottle like this size. This is my travel one. So I'm going to spray it on my dampened Perfector sponge and then just dab it on my face. I've already moisturized. Now you can spray this directly on your face if you want to. Just sometimes it can be a little aggressive. I might use this as a setting afterwards too. So it is called our setting spray, but it doubles as a primer. It's pretty awesome. And I like to really get up here around my eyes. Anywhere where you have bigger pores is great to really push this into. I'm going to let it dry for a second. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'm kind of in between my foundation colors right now. This one is obviously too light for all over, but it's my pop color. It's my brightening highlight. This one's a little too dark for me right now, but you can mix them together because this is super easy makeup. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I just kind of wanted to show you way too dark, way too light. No worries. Let's start with, I think the first thing I want to start with is I'm going to dust a little bit of my Bella bronzer all over. Here's my blush and bronzer brush. I'm using the fluffy side, and I'm just going to kind of dust this on the high points of my face. Now, if you have any redness, you can see where I'm definitely a little bit more red around my nose and my cheeks. This is a great way to even out your skin tone a little bit. If you're freckly, this is a really great way too. If you don't really want to cover your freckles, but you just kind of want to have a little bit more evenness. If you dust your bronzer on first, you kind of get that glow. It evens things out a little bit, and you end up using less foundation, which is something else that I really love. I don't want to show you this, but I'm going to because I always share too much. I have this terrible hormonal breakout right here, right now. So I'm going to address that at the end. My skin itself is pretty good. You know, I have my little areas of redness, but I don't really have any breakouts except for right here. It's terrible. Let's start with our camo color. So if you have a camo color, you may not. This one for me is Frenchy. It's actually one of our lip and cheeks. And a camo color is just going to be something that's going to camouflage some areas. So really lightly, I'm putting it where I'm a little bit more bluish under my eyes, so I'm camouflaging that. And I tend to have that little bit of redness under here. Now your artist, me, Vanessa Short, your Saint Artist, or your artist, if you're watching this and you already have a Saint Artist, will help you choose the perfect camo color. I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit. I kind of don't even want to worry about these because they're so bad. I'm going to have to touch them up at the end anyway. But like I said, mainly it was for under my eyes. Next, I'm going to take let's do contour color. So I'm going to apply most of this with my fingers, and then I'll blend with my brush. So let me wave at you there. I'm going to find my cheekbone, and I'm going to go just above it. So right where my cheekbone dipped in, so it's actually right under my cheekbone, I'm going to put this right above that dip. It's a little bit more uplifting, and depending on your face shape, you might be a little bit different on this, but for me, I got way extra there. I'll just move it over here. I like to not come in further than the corner of my eye because I don't want to close in my face too much. So I'm going to put that there, and then I'm also going to put it up here on my forehead. I like to say I'm making my 5 head a forehead, and make sure that you get it into your hairline. We'll blend it better with the brush, but just kind of like that. A little bit along my jaw. Here's another pro tip. If you happen to have little jowls or a dip right here, you may want to avoid that dip. Don't add extra dark to that because you're just going to shadow it more, and it's going to actually look like it's receding more. So I like to stay away from my little dip, but I will pull down some on my neck right here. Okay. And then we're going to do our nose. Now you can totally use your fingers to contour your nose. You can use something like the multitasker brush. I'm going to use a few brushes today just to kind of show you. You don't have to use all these, but this is the detail brush. I'm going to use this one for my contour and for my brightening pop color. That's Charlie, my dog. Don't worry about him. The first brush I used was the blush and bronzer brush. So I used this side for the bronzer. I'm going to probably use this side to blend my foundation. And then this is the eyeshadow brush and the multitasker. So let's take our detail brush, and obviously mine need to be cleaned, but I'm just going to lightly dab this into my contour on the side of that brush. And I'm going to use that straight edge to draw a straight line, just like that. Then I'm going to flip it and draw another straight line. And the closer you can get these together, the narrower that line is in the middle, the narrower your nose will look. If you guys have any questions, please shoot me a comment, ask me a question. If I don't answer it right away, I will check this after I'm done with this video. Okay. So there you go. And don't stress if it's not perfect. You can just wipe it a little bit. Or for me, this side is a little bit more bulbous, so I tend to put more on that side. You can take whatever's left over and you can contour right under your lip a little bit. It creates a little extra fullness. You can use this as eyeshadow as you want, if you want. We're going to probably fill in my eyebrows with it too. But now we're moving on to our pop color. So let me show you the other end of this detail brush. I'm going to use the small side. I'm going to grab my lightest, brightest highlight, which is my pop color, and I'm going to do inside corner of my eyes. So down my nose, inside corner, outside corner, and on either side of my nose. That's it. You could do this with your fingers too. And then for me, I feel a little bit hollow there, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit extra right there. Okay. Now, the last color is our bridge color, which is your main foundation color. But for me, since this one's a little bit too dark, I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to actually dab into both of these, just like that. So I've mixed them kind of on my finger already. And I'm going to put these dots everywhere where I didn't put the other makeup. Just like that. Nothing fancy. Just get it dotted on there. Okay. Alternative to mixing the two like that is you could literally do a dark dot, a light dot, a dark dot, a light dot, but that was just easier, right? Okay, I think I've got myself pretty covered. Yeah. And I can add my cheek color now, or I can do it after. I think that I'm going to add it now just so I can look crazier, and you can see I like to put mine a little bit higher. So above my contour line, but stay away from smile lines. So not the traditional apples of the cheeks area, a little bit higher than that. It's going to be a lot more uplifting. While this is just sitting here warming up, I am going to do my eye makeup. I like to use an eye primer. You don't have to. Some people will use their highlight color as their primer, or one of the cream eyeshadows as a primer. But let's use some primer today. This one's called NYX. It is one of my faves. It's like $5 or $6. You can get it on Amazon. You can get them at Walgreens. Easy to find. And I just put a little dot on there, and then I spread it around on my eye. And it's slightly tacky. Charlie, or Stella, stop. Sorry, my dog's messing around over there. Yeah, coffee break. Okay, where was I? Eyeshadow. Okay, so that's set there for a second. Let's put some eyeshadow on. Now, we can use a brush. You can use some of it for your fingers, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to start with my fingers. I like to use this one. I've been using this one a lot. It's called Tangled. It's a cream eyeshadow. And I'm just going to kind of use this all over as a base or a color wash. There's a million names for everything. I've been in the hair business for over 30 years, and it's the same way with hair. People are like, what's the difference between a balayage and baby lights and ombre? You know what? It's just different placement. It's basically, they're all highlights, okay? It just depends where you put them. Okay, so what did I call that? A color wash, a base color. You could call it your priming eyeshadow, whatever you want. But a light color usually everywhere. And then I'm going to take, let's still use my finger. What color am I going to use? I'm going to use this one. It's called Gigi. And I'm going to put this just on that outer half of my eyelid. And I'm just dabbing it with my finger. And because that Tangled is a cream, it kind of sticks to it. Plus it gives it a little extra intensity, so a little extra pop. And when you use your finger, you're keeping more of that color on your eye rather than in the brush, so it's a little more intense. Next, I'm going to take the fluffy side of my eyeshadow brush. I'm going to take a light neutral brown, medium neutral brown, whatever you have. This one's called Oak. And I'm just going to do my crease and a little bit above. I have heavier eyelids, so I'm going to look straight on. I'm not going to raise my eyebrows too much, and I'm going to make sure that I get some of that color above my brow or above my crease, because watch, if I closed my eye and I just put this in the crease, watch what happens. You can see it when my eye is closed, but when I open, it almost all disappears. And it makes my eyelid actually look heavier. So I'm going to make sure that I get a little bit there. And I'm kind of following that arch area, so I'm staying right in that area. If you want to be a little more specific, you could totally use the smaller end. I am a sloppy eyeshadow person, so right now I'm choking back on the brush a little bit, so it's a little bit softer application. It blends a little bit easier, and I'm just doing this windshield wiper motion just to kind of blend those together. Just like that. If you want to add a little bit more darkness in that corner, let me just grab a darker eyeshadow color. This one's called Coal. It's just a super dark brown. I'm just going to kind of put a little dot right there. And then I'm going to flip that over and blend it again. There we go. The one thing I like about putting my eyeshadow on while the face makeup is sitting there is that if I make a mess or I get my eyeshadow in the wrong place, it's really easy to clean it up if there's any fallout. Our eyeshadow really doesn't have any fallout. It's not flaky. So all of the eyeshadows that I'm using, except for that Tangled, they're powders. We have 4 cream eyeshadows. I can tell you more about those later, but I'm going to use one of the cream eyeshadows, this one right here called Arabian Nights, as my eyeliner. I love it as eyeliner. It's so easy to use. It's like a dark brown. It has a slight shimmer in it, but I definitely wouldn't call it glitter. I can even use it in my eyebrows, so it's not too shimmery. I'm going to use the big end of my multitasker brush. I'm just going to kind of wiggle it in there until I've got some on, and I'm going to bring this. This is a great way to make your eyes look a little bit bigger too, just about halfway on the bottom. And instead of using black, try this with a brown or a purple, and you'll notice that it creates a softer look, but it still defines really nicely. And then on the top, I'm going to go all the way across. And I really like to use this side of the brush because I can kind of wiggle it into my lash line and get close there. And if I mess up, it's kind of a smudgy look, so it doesn't look like I've ever messed up. And then I lay the brush down and I kind of do a little wing at the end with it. So it's not a pen liner wing, excuse me, it just kind of gives a little bit of a soft smudgy wing there. And I don't know if you guys notice this, I can close this eye and do this like this, but I can't do it with the other eye. I'm like a broken doll. You know, one eye will close, but if I try to close the other one, both of them close. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I'm a little broken. Aren't we all? Okay. So I'm done with that. Let's blend our face makeup, okay? I've been yapping way too long here. I'm going to grab my blush and bronzer. I'm going to use the small side of this. If you wanted to, you could totally blend with your contour side. In fact, let's just blend that with that. And this is like butter, you know? It warmed up to my skin. Especially if you're in a colder climate or if you're in air conditioning, it's really nice to let it sit on your skin for a few minutes because it just will blend so much easier. So with the contour, I'm making sure that I get it in my hairline, but I'm also going in an upward motion here on my cheeks. You can blend it totally with your cheek color if you want to, but I just feel like this little brush sometimes takes too long. So I'll just do my contour with it. Let's use this side. So I just kind of push it in. I'm kind of wiggling a little bit. I like to call it stippling, where I'm just like lightly bouncing, and I'm just kind of blending it as I go. I want to make sure that I get the light color. I might have got too much pink on there, but don't worry, I'll show you how that works. And if you notice, I'm going down here. I have a little washcloth that I always have next to me, so if I get any excess on my brush, I can kind of wipe it off a little bit. If you can't get in these little corners, you can use your little end of your detail, or you can use your finger if you want, if you don't have nails. Be careful if you have nails. Okay, don't forget to blend your nose contour. If you guys have any questions about this makeup, I'm here to help you. Sorry, my nose is running. If you are interested in becoming an artist, obviously you don't have to be perfect because I'm doing it and you guys are watching, so I can't be that bad, right? It's really made for everybody. You can't screw up. If you fall in love with the makeup, you end up sharing it with your friends anyway. That's kind of how I got into it. I had no intention of selling it, and it just happened, and I love it. It was the best accident I ever made. All right, I'm going to cover these blemishes under here. Actually, first let's fill in my eyebrows. Remember I said I can use this dark brown? There's already some on the brush, so let me fill in my eyebrows. I like to start at my arch, and then I kind of flick up right here. Now we have a nice little spoolie brush too for that, but I just want to stick to these 4 brushes today. Okay, man, eyebrows make a huge difference. Don't neglect your eyebrows. And mascara is going to make a huge difference on me because my eyelashes are so light. All right, I think I'm loving the way that looks. The only thing I need to address is this. So I'm going to flip my brush over and use this little small side. I'm going to grab my darker foundation, even though it was too dark all over for my face, because I'm covering these really dark spots. It will work very well. So I'm just dabbing directly on those dots. And I'm just going to dab them with my finger. I always use my ring finger, if you've noticed, for everything. It has the lightest touch, but I'm going to really lightly just pat that in until it disappears. Sorry, just adding a little extra bronzer right there. Okay, I think I did pretty good. Maybe a little bit more right here. Sometimes it's hard to cover them when they're like raw, and I scratched at that one this morning, so my fault. Okay, I'm gonna set a little bit of powder in some areas, like around my eyes. If you need any extra brightening or something, now's the time to do it before we set. So let me just take a little bit of my brightening pop color, and I'm just going to put a little bit extra right here. I'm not going right up to my lash line with it. I'm staying kind of underneath, and it really gives you less of the raccoon look, but still brightens. It's nice to have some darkness under here, some shadow. It just brings out your eyes more. So I don't like to cover that up. And then if you really want to sculpt out your cheeks, you can just take your finger and kind of rub right under where you put that contour. Yes, I like it. Are you happy? I'm happy. All right, let's set with a little bit of powder. Oh, remember I had that dampened Perfector sponge with some setting spray on it? You could add some more setting spray if you want, or you can just kind of dab if you feel like you have excess makeup on. This is a great way to push it into your skin and pull off any excess if you have it. You can also blend all of your makeup with this instead of a brush. Everything is so multitask. I can't stick to one way in a video because I just kind of muddle them all together and it comes out perfect. Okay, powder. I'm here. It doesn't really matter what brush you use. I like to use one that's a little bit more dense to set my powder. I'm just going to use this one. There is a powder brush that I have, but like I said, I'm trying to stick to the 4. So I just wiped it off a little bit. I'm going to dab into that powder, make sure that I set those blemishes that I covered for sure. That'll keep that foundation on there all day. And then just a little bit around my eyes and my nose. And our powder doesn't cake up. It's not going to settle into fine lines. It's like a filter. It just kind of softens everything. It's really cool. And then if you want to add a little bit of illuminator for a little bit of shine, I'll just use the fluffy side and really lightly. This is something that people overuse a lot. It's such a concentrated makeup. And this one's a powder. It's called Glamazing. You really just need the tiniest bit to get that glow. See that when the light hits it? I don't want to look like a disco ball, but I love that glow. You can kind of put it anywhere that you want a glow. Another fun place to put it is take your ring finger and just do a little dab on that very inner corner. I always say it like wakes up my eyes, but it gives like a really pretty focal glow there. And I think that's about it, you guys. You can use your lip and cheek colors on your lips. Okay, I said that's about it, but let me show you. I have some leftover of that Arabian Nights eyeshadow that I used to fill in my eyebrows, and I used it as eyeliner. I'm just going to use it as lip liner because you can use everything everywhere. You cannot screw this up. If you have any questions, I am Vanessa Short, your Saint Artist. I will walk you through all of it. But yeah, that's kind of my tagline. You cannot screw this up. It's super easy. It's super forgiving. Yeah, and after you buy it, I won't disappear. I'm here to help you. So we can do video chats. Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. All right, now I got to go fix my hair. All right, everyone, have a beautiful day. If you have any questions about the makeup, the artist program, I'm here, Vanessa Short, your Saint Artist. Bye.